Hey guys, Nebraska Farm Boy here, and you guys all know that I like knives. I carry knives, I use knives. Knives are my preferred self-defense weapon, and hardly a video goes by without me advocating for the use of knives. Well, not the use of knives as self-defense, but the carrying of knives for self-defense in case you need to use your knife for self-defense. However, I have a problem with people who are carrying knives for self-defense for the wrong reason. And there are 5 reasons that I came up with why I would sooner you didn't carry a knife for self-defense than carry one for one of these reasons. Using a knife to threaten is an absolutely terrible idea. Here's the thing, some people seem to think that they can use lethal force as a merely psychological weapon. But those are 2 entirely different things. If you think that you can de-escalate a situation, pulling a weapon is the last thing you want to do. And a knife really does not have much for psychological fear. I am not terrified by the sight of this 3.5-inch folder. It's only as effective as what you can do with it. And if you have this out in front of you like people are always showing on the movies, you're only asking for that knife to get taken from you. Look, if you're gonna pull a knife, be prepared to use it. I'm not saying that if it does work as a merely psychological threat, then by all means do not use that knife on the assailant if he is fleeing the scene or something. But if you pull a knife, 9 out of 10 you're going to need to use it. So you need to be prepared to use it and in a position that you can use it. Do not carry a knife as an excuse not to learn skills, okay? A knife is only as effective as the skills that you already have. A knife is not, it's not even like a gun. A gun does require skill, people. There's a common misconception that it doesn't. However, it requires less skill than a knife. A gun, you point, get the sights on, pull trigger, and it optimally will do all the work for you. With a knife, you're doing all the work and just using the knife as an assist. And it's also not going to be like a guard dog that you can send out and say, go get him, boy, and it'll go get him. No, a knife is what you use to protect yourself. It's not going to do it for you. A knife without skills can quickly become a liability. Using a knife is not just about tactics. In real life, you need to be in line with the law. You need to be able to understand when a threat presents an actual threat to yourself or someone else of death or of great bodily injury, okay? Because that's the only time you are entitled to use lethal force, and a knife is lethal force. Unfortunately, there's also laws restricting the carrying of knives and the possession of knives and whatnot, and it's really worth knowing those so that you don't get in trouble. Do not carry a knife if you lack moral restraint or the will to defend yourself. Carrying a knife is a responsibility, and if you have a quick, violent temper, you have no business carrying a knife. You could do someone damage. A knife is only to be used in defense of yourself or others, not to threaten someone in order to get your way. That's an entirely different kind of threatening, which we are now condemning as wrong, and you are no longer a protector if you do that, okay? And you also are going to get in trouble with the law, and I'm not going to help you, okay? You also should not be carrying a knife if you lack the will to use it, okay? You can't, carrying a knife knife fighting is dirty, and you need to be able to understand just what you're getting into. You need to have the will to fight. You need to have a realistic expectation of what your knife can and cannot do. There's a common misconception going around that if you stab someone in the chest, they'll immediately drop over dead. If you stab someone in the stomach, they're going to have too much psychological fear and pain. It'll overwhelm them and they won't be able to continue on their attack. And that just ain't true. You can stab someone in both of those areas and they may not even know that they were stabbed at first because there's so much adrenaline pumping through them. Or they could be on drugs, or there's various scenarios that could be going on there. And you need to know how to continue on with that fight. Granted, eventually it's going to catch up with them and they're going to need the grip of a chicken's feed sack in order to continue on, but you're going to need to know how to survive until that kind of pain kind of catches up with them. You're also going to need to have a good idea of how the human body works so that you can know what your cut is actually going to do. At times it can be more effective to cut muscle so that they aren't able to use an arm or a leg. At times it can be more effective to stab. You just have to know how these things work. And it's a very broad topic. I don't have time to get into it today. Hopefully we'll be able to do a video on it someday. But until then, go learn as much as you can. Also, if you're getting into a knife fight, you need to understand that you could get cut. You quite probably will get cut. That's what, granted, we train so we minimize our danger of getting cut, but sometimes you still might get cut. And you need to know what to do then. As you learn skills like this, you're going to find that there's more skills that you need to learn. Okay, I carry a knife, I also carry a tourniquet, okay? I have it right here in my pocket, and if I need it, I can just take it out, it's a wrap tourniquet, and I can self-apply this tourniquet, okay? I don't just carry a knife, I'm not just a fighter, I also know how to stop bleeding on myself and others, okay? And it's important that you're learning all these skills, and you have to put it all together into one cohesive unit. So guys, those are my top 5 wrong reasons for carrying a knife. There are right reasons for carrying a knife. I have a video on the top 5 good reasons for carrying a knife. I have it linked right here. You should go check that out because I don't want you guys to be discouraged. I don't want you guys to stop carrying knives because you're carrying it for the wrong reasons. I want you to carry knives for the right reasons. Without any further ado, this is Nebraska Farm Boy, and we will see you next time.